The lawyer for the IRS whistleblower is now speaking. We still don't know who the whistleblower himself is, don't have any identity on that person's name or really the details on their involvement with the IRS. We know it's somebody who's been there for a while, a more senior special IRS agent who has come out and said that the senior official in the Biden administration, named Merrick Garland, is being dishonest with Congress. This is attorney Mark Lytle. Mark Lytle was the author of the letter on behalf of the IRS whistleblower that got sent in to Congress notifying them that they want to continue to pursue additional disclosures, saying my client has a lot more details that he has shared with other agencies, but nothing is coming from it. And so Congress, you need to be made aware of this so you can do something.
There are laws in place, federal laws that protect the privacy of taxpayers and taxpayer information. They're very specific about what can be said and what can't be said and under what circumstances that can take place. My client wants to specifically follow those laws, and they involve certain procedures. In particular, when approaching Congress, there's only specific committees that are allowed or that are empowered to grant this authority for a whistleblower to come forward to talk about taxpayer information.
So when someone says maybe this is politically motivated, how do you respond to that?
Well, I can say we are not able to talk about any particular cases, and there's no, my client wants to come forward. He's not a political person. He's not a social media person. He's not coming here with a political agenda.
He's been at the IRS for a long time.
He's been at the IRS for more than 10 years.
Wow.
And now he's a supervisory special agent. He's been trusted at the IRS. He's actually been trusted as an assistant special agent in charge in other cities and trusted with international investigations and working with other countries' tax enforcement bureaus.
Is there documentation to support this, not just someone saying this is what I saw, but actual documentation?
Yes, Brett. So my client's a career law enforcement officer who is respected within the IRS, and he teaches other agents how to properly do investigations. He knows when to spot when when investigative steps aren't done in the traditional way to get at the truth. And he has spotted and observed things that are done differently in this particular matter, which I can't identify. And he wants to talk about them, and he believes that they were influenced by politics.
Wow.
You can't identify, but we have sources telling us that this has to do with the Hunter Biden investigation. And to that point, Hunter Biden's attorney, Chris Clark, put out a statement in which he says, it appears this IRS agent has committed a crime. It is a felony for an IRS agent to improperly disclose information about an ongoing tax investigation. The IRS has incredible power, and abusing that power by targeting, embarrassing, or disclosing information about a private citizen's tax matters undermines Americans' faith in the federal government. Unfortunately, that is what has happened and is happening here in an attempt to harm my client.
Attack the messenger. Say, oh, no, we don't want him to talk about what he actually knows, therefore he's committing a crime. Even though he's got a lawyer in this case, this whistleblower has apparently, according to this attorney and his letter that we read through here, already taken this up through the proper chains of command, but nothing is being done, which is why he got a lawyer and said, I need to escalate this and go through the proper legal mechanisms to address this with Congress, literally following the rules to blow the whistle on a politically partisan, potentially covered up investigation that's currently being conducted by the DOJ.
You know, it's really unfortunate that that statement was made. Mr. Clark made that statement. My client wrestled with whether or not to come forward. He had a lot of sleepless nights about coming forward with this. At the end of the day, he decided that he could not live with himself if he stayed quiet and said nothing. So he's coming forward, but he knows that he's going to be attacked. And, you know, really, attacks like this are kind of what he was worried about. But he wants to come forward, tell the truth. He's instructed us to reach out to both Democrats and Republicans on the Hill and let those statements that if they want to hear him and have him come in to the Hill and talk to him, let those statements rest where they are.
I mean, you see that as fairly threatening, that
It is threatening.
You know, I don't think it helps,
Yeah, it is threatening. And you know what? It's insulting from one lawyer to another. It's very insulting. It's basically implying that this guy right here, Mark Lytle, is also facilitating the commission of a crime. It's one of those professional courtesy things that you don't do. You can come out and put a statement out from one lawyer to another. Our client vehemently disagrees with this. Whistleblower doesn't know anything. As we've been saying, my client is totally innocent. The investigation is being conducted by the DOJ, and we stand by my client's innocence, not only in that investigation, but we're also confident that whatever this whistleblower has to say is also fraudulent and made up, and we declare our innocence in that investigation too. But to turn around and say, hey, you're a criminal and your lawyer is also committing a crime by helping you do this, is assisting in criminality. It's kind of a cross of the line, you know, and this is another big problem because remember, this lawyer is not speaking on behalf of some random nobody, civilian defendant. This is not a standard civilian. This is Hunter Biden's lawyer. Hunter Biden is the son of the president. And in some instances that we've seen here, it looks like Hunter Biden's actually in control of his dad, telling him where to go, helping him translate English to English, because Joe Biden doesn't really know where he is. Hunter Biden was flying around with him in Ireland, traveling around as his caretaker and bagman. So Hunter Biden's lawyer saying that this whistleblower or this lawyer are facilitating the commission of a crime is a very roundabout way to say, maybe we're going to come bring down the actual U.S. government and DOJ down upon you. Hunter can tell Daddy, Daddy can influence Garland. The entire structure can put pressure on the DOJ to come and prosecute or threaten and intimidate these people. So it's not just a random comment that, you know, we think maybe he's making a crime. It carries with it the implication that maybe somebody will look into this and bring forward some additional crimes.
You know, I don't think it helps whistleblowers as a whole. I mean, there is a strong contingent on the Hill that believes in the whistleblower programs to shine a light on government agencies and programs and to enable people to come forward without getting threatened. And it's unfortunate that that statement was made.
Protection, is that advanced from that request?
Yesterday we sent the letter out to the various committees that have these authorities. We have received outreach this morning, and we're in current dialogue. We haven't received outreach from every committee, but we've received dialogue from some of the committees, and we're in a dialogue with what's next steps to take.
A positive dialogue.
Positive dialogue, expressing interest to come forward. One of the things my client insists on is that he only come in to talk to both Democrats and Republicans, and they can all ask him questions and cross-examine him, and he has documents that'll support what he has to say. One of the difficulties about tax secrecy laws, tax privacy laws, are some of the things he can't tell me as his lawyer and so we've instructed him, don't do that. We want to have him follow those laws. Congress can enable him to do that.
This lawyer is in such an interesting position. I'm putting myself in his shoes, and how do you handle something like this? Because on the one hand, you have to reach out to the government to get their guidance on this. You don't want to take liberties with this data, stuff you should not be seeing, break the law, and then come under the scrutiny of the federal DOJ. But you have to also reach out to the same government and explain to them that you've got information that might implicate that very government in criminality and crimes. And so while they're reaching out to some of the Republicans who may be welcoming and forthcoming, you've got a whole group of people who are going to be doing everything they can to put speed bumps in this, to discredit this man, and to stop any type of sit down, whether it's open door, closed door, whether it's public or private, we don't know, but they're going to want to stop that from happening. And so the lawyer has to reach out and say, can you help me? To a very vicious government who has a history of biting you. It's not a fun position to be in. And he's also got other lawyers, co-counsel, who maybe make threats, maybe jerks and say things and threaten you with this or threaten you with that. But this carries with it some extra oomph because it comes from the president's son's lawyer. And we know the president's son appears to have a lot of sway over his daddy.
Does your client think that what he's coming forward with, is explosive, is jarring?
So I can't talk specifically about who it was that my client's talking about, and I know there's been a lot of reporting, and I can't address that. What I can say is a career law enforcement officer who knows the right way to do an investigation, when he hears a senior, politically appointed official at the Department of Justice under sworn testimony say something, and in his mind it's directly contradictory to what he knows is going on with the investigation.
And what he can prove with documents.
What he can prove with documents, he wants to come forward.
Wow. Saying that Merrick Garland lied to Congress and he can prove it with documents.